When it comes to losing body fat, by far the easiest way is by just consuming more protein. Now, in case you don't know anything about how to, hit your macros or how to have little hacks on how to easily make it, simple for you to hit your protein goal, this episode's really going to help you out. I want to go over just in context and in details the benefits of having more protein, how it works within the body, how it's an easy staple to, help somebody lose fat, build muscle, speed up their metabolism, but also 7 hacks, right? 7 protein hacks to help you on your fat loss journey. And hands down, if you follow through with these hacks, there should be no problem at all with you missing your protein goal. So the majority of people out there, when they have, let's say, the dad bod, which is the man boobs, the love handles, like the gut or the spare tire that's around their stomach, it's typically because they have a slow metabolism. Now, a lot of people think it's calories in versus calories out, and I'll quickly just say this for the simple fact of how I want your mind going forward into the rest of today's episode to be wired more so about nutrition rather than just calories in versus calories out, right? So let's just say you lived in Florida and you were driving up to Cleveland, Ohio to come visit me, get a workout in, eat some donuts afterwards, have a great time. Well, if you never took time to actually fill up your car, right, with gasoline, eventually you're going to be riding around on the side of the road on fumes, right, be broken down. That's your vehicle because you never took time to actually fill it up, right? You never took time to put gas where it's needed. Well, if we're not fueling our bodies, right, essentially we're going to be slowing down our metabolic rate. We're going to be slowing down our metabolism because we're not properly fueling our bodies to maintain its muscle. And especially if we're not using our muscle, guess what? We're going to lose it. Like if you don't use it, you lose it, plain and simple. And if you're not fueling properly for it, you lose it. So the majority of guys out there that, let's say they're over 30% body fat. And in case you don't know your body fat percentage, go to Google, and just type in men's body fat percentage calculations and, images. So that way you can kind of get a good understanding and see. But a good reference is just stand up. Wherever you're at right now, stand up, look down. What sticks out farther, your stomach or your chest? If your stomach sticks out farther, odds are you're probably over 30% body fat. And that ain't good, right? Because over 30% body fat, now you're starting to play with some health concerns like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, type 2 diabetes, at risk for stroke, heart disease, heart attacks, all these things that nobody wants to happen. It's like a lot of guys say like, oh, I'll start, working out and I'll start eating healthy when I retire. But it's like, if you push that off to the very end, odds are, right, like you're going to be making your life expectancy a lot shorter because you're not taking care of your health. So an easy way to take care of your health and lose more body fat and obviously simplify things for your own lifestyle for sustainable, right, results is by just following through with what I like to say is easy hacks. And in today's episode, we're going to go over 7 of them in terms of how you can easily just eat more protein. That's it. 7 hacks on how to help you hit more protein. And once again, the reason why it's so beneficial is because 1, it's higher up on the thermic effect of food, right? And so that means essentially when we're eating, carbs, proteins, fats, right, your macronutrient profile, it takes your body very little energy to actually break down carbohydrates and break down fats. It takes your body a lot of energy to essentially have more protein. And that's because the amino acid profile that's inside of a protein molecule. So the more protein that you eat, the more fat loss you're going to have, right? So that's what I want you to keep in mind the remainder as we progress. Now, you may be somebody that's wondering like, yeah, but Joe, this sounds great. And I'm excited for these, protein hacks. Can't wait to hear all about them. But for me, my body type, my goals, how much protein should I be having? And this is where I want to just give you a blanket calculation. If you take your body weight and multiply it by 0.8, that's going to give you the bare minimum of protein that you should be having each and every day. If you want to lose fat, if you want to build muscle, right? Like that's how much protein you should be having per day is your body weight times 0.8. Now, if you're somebody that is really trying to lose weight, right? You're trying to lose more body fats. You're trying to speed up your metabolism because maybe you haven't been, eating a good amount of food, right? For the past couple months, past couple years, and you feel like you have a slow metabolism, right? I recommend taking your body weight and multiplying it by 1. That's playing it safe. That's what we like to say is just a good starting point for somebody that's on their fat loss journey. Now, you can go all the way up to taking your body weight and multiplying it by 1.5. I would say that's like the threshold, that's the max. You don't really need all that. I'll be honest with you. You don't really need all that protein. Sometimes it's good to have carbs. Sometimes it's good to have fats, right? Like all these things is what's called a well-balanced diet. But eating a good amount of protein, obviously that's going to be essential when our goal is to lose body fat. Now let's talk about 7 fat loss hacks when it comes to just consuming more protein. And the first one, right, one that goes unfortunately unnoticed for most guys, and that's to start off early. Like literally just start off the day early. Like most people out there, they're prepared for maybe the work the night before, right? Maybe it's like their clothes that they're going to wear. Maybe it's a nice suit. Maybe it's a nice tie. For guys that are dedicated to going to the gym in the morning, they typically have like, their bag out and their workout clothes and all that stuff prepared. Well, when guys are struggling when it comes to hitting their protein goal and losing body fat, I always recommend start off early. There is nothing worse than waiting till the end of the day. You're looking on your app, however you're tracking your calories and macros, you're looking on the app and it's showing that you're like, 150 grams short of hitting your protein goal. And it's like 8 p.m. at night and you're like, holy cow, like what do I do then? You're kind of screwed. I hate to say it. Like eating all that protein right before you go to sleep, that's not going to be fun. That's going to be uncomfortable, So start off the day early. And we're going to get into a specific method, what I like to say is the 2x2x2 method here in a little bit. That's going to be able to help you out when it comes to starting off your day early. But there is essentially a variety of different things that you can do to acquire in more protein. Okay, whether that's protein bars, protein yogurt, protein, coffee, all these things that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But however you want to consume that protein, I want to start off with there first and foremost. Start off early, whether that's whole foods, like you're having, some egg whites and maybe some turkey bacon, or maybe, hey, you're somebody that you have a lot of supplements like myself, right? Like I love protein powder. I love protein bars. I use supplements because it makes it very easy for me and sustainable for me to hit my protein goal. So whether you're somebody that's on that supplement train or whether you're somebody that's on the whole food train, it honestly doesn't matter. Just start off early and just focus on hitting that protein goal. And we already went over that calculations, okay? So that's tip number 1 is start the day early hitting that protein goal. Tip number 2 is to start having protein coffee. Now, if you're somebody that doesn't like coffee, I don't know you. You ain't friends with me. Because protein coffee is by far the best thing in the world, especially if you have like a good quality protein powder. If you're taking something that's like generic, like everybody's taking, like gold standard whey, that's typically not the best quality protein, and it honestly doesn't taste the best when it comes to making protein coffee. I like using my protein, salted caramel. It's an isolate. It's like 90 calories, 22 grams of protein. It works, right? And it tastes delicious. And so essentially how to make protein coffee, just so you guys aren't getting the protein clumps, it's very simple. You take, your coffee, so black coffee, right off the pot or the Keurig, whatever the case may be. If you want to add in a little bit of creamer, right, like low-calorie creamers or sugar-free creamers, that's perfectly fine. Whatever up to you, But I would say add some of that creamer or one of those zero-calorie sweetener packets. Add that into the black coffee and just let it sit there for maybe like a minute or two. Because what you don't want to do, right, keynote, you don't want to take boiling hot coffee and put your protein powder in it. You know how we just talked about the thermic effect of food and how having more protein, right, it's essentially harder on the body when it comes to breaking it down and digesting it, so it's burning more calories? Well, this is a good little fun science experiment, especially if you have any kids. You take boiling hot coffee, you add a scoop of protein powder into it, what's going to happen is it's going to clump up. It's going to be so hard, right, to even dissolve, be broken down. First off, that coffee is going to taste like crap. It's not even going to be edible at that point, You can't even digest it. But it's hard, right, to do. So when you're consuming the protein, think about that, internally, what's going on within your body. It's it gets hard, right? And that's what makes it, the digestion process, harder for the protein, which makes, it higher up on the thermic effect of food, and you're losing more calories by just simply eating more protein. So for you, especially if you're somebody that likes coffee, have your coffee, let it sit out for a minute or two, add a little bit of, 0-calorie creamer or something like that, if you want. and then add the protein powder in. And then just add, I like to say don't add, but get a frother off Amazon. It's $5. Best investment ever, right? Besides our coaching program at Heartletics, buy a frother. Mix that bad boy up. I'm telling you what, like this beats Starbucks any day out of the week, okay? Protein coffee, 100 calories, 25 grams of protein, tastes great, okay? You can also double up. Maybe you want to do 2 scoops, go for 2 scoops, whatever floats your boat, right? So tip number 2 is protein coffee. Tip number 3 is protein bars, right? It might seem pretty simple, like, oh, what are some protein hacks? Well, just get protein bars, but it's more so than that, okay? It's especially if you're a parent that is watching this and listening to this right now, it's knowing that your little ones are looking up to you and they're following in your footsteps. So if you have the pantry filled with a whole bunch of crap, right? Like ho-hos and Twinkies and all these, high sugary junk food, processed foods, full of crap, right? Not good for you at all. Swap it out, right? Be that parent that makes that executive decision, swaps it out for high protein options. So instead of candy bars, get protein bars. Instead of regular chips, get protein chips, right? Like all these different things you can find on Amazon, honestly. It's pretty easy to do. Just literally type it in and just buy it. And you might be thinking like, Joe, a protein bar is like twice as much as a candy bar. Well, yeah, but if it's going to make you live twice as longer, I think it's well worth the investment, okay? So if you continue to put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out, right? What's worse? Hey, spending more money, but having more confidence, six-pack abs, and a chiseled chest, right? And you're living longer, or saving some of your money, but now next thing you know, you have type 2 diabetes. Pick and choose your poison, right? So make that adjustment. So tip number 3 is swapping out the protein, the candy bars with like protein bars, or regular chips with protein chips. Find things like this to do. My son, like it literally is the best feeling in the world when my son will ask me, hey, Dad, do we have any protein bars? Like, there's candy upstairs. He can go for the candy, right? Like, we don't hide anything. But guess what? Like, he literally asked me, Dad, where's the protein bars? I'll get, like, the Built Bars. They have, like, these snickerdoodles whenever they're in stock. I order so many of them because they're so delicious. My son eats them all, So it's great knowing that, hey, just by me making better cognitive decisions on what I'm putting into my body, my son is also following in my footsteps, okay? So tip number 3, once again, protein bars rather than candy bars. Tip number 4 is protein yogurt, right? This is the easiest, by far, recipe, hack, whatever it is that you want to call it. So many different ways to actually make this so freaking good and delicious, okay? I'll tell you a few ways on how I like to make it, okay? For starters, plain Greek yogurt, right? Don't get the vanilla. Don't get anything else. We're going to be adding protein powder in the mix. We're going to make it sweet. Don't worry, right? But plain Greek yogurt. Low in calories, high in protein. Take a scoop or 2 of that, put it into a bowl, add a scoop of protein powder into the mix, mix it up. You literally just doubled up on the protein. Like, you take your plain Greek yogurt, add in a scoop of protein powder into that bowl, mix it up. You literally just doubled up on that protein. Now, here's where it gets fun, okay? Add in there maybe some dark chocolate chips, add in there maybe some coconut flakes, a little bit of chia seeds on top, whatever you want, right? What I personally like to do, and I tell you what, this is the best ever recipe in the world, is you also buy one of those Jell-O, sugar-free, zero-calorie, fat-free, instant pudding mixes. You buy the cheesecake one, right? So now you take half of that packet, and you also put that into that bowl with the protein powder and with the yogurt, right? You mix it up really, really good. It becomes like this cheesecake type of texture, okay? And then from there, I'm taking just one single graham cracker, crumpling it up, putting it on top, right? Because I want a little crunch, or maybe I'll use a little granola, and then sugar-free sugar-free jam. Whether it's like red jam, blueberry jam, anything like that. You literally are making like a huge thing of protein cheesecake right there in a bowl. It's delicious. It's amazing. I obviously love cheesecake, so it's like hits the spot every single time. But however you want to mix up that recipe, you can't really go wrong. It's protein and Greek yogurt. Everything else is an add-on on top, right? Essentially, that bowl right there is like 40, 50 grams of protein. Little hack for you guys, okay? The next one, well, let's recap so far, right? So the first hack is starting off the day early with hitting your protein goal. Don't wait until you have like 150 grams of protein left and it's 8 p.m. at night. That ain't going to work, okay? Number 2 is protein coffee. Number 3 is protein bars or protein chips over like the regular candy bars and regular chips. Number 4 is protein yogurt. Number 5 is clear whey. Now, My Protein makes clear whey. There's also some other brands out there that makes, clear proteins as well. But essentially, a clear protein is like a flavored protein. Maybe it's like lemonade. Maybe it's like strawberry, whatever the case may be. But you don't need milk. You don't need almond milk. You don't need anything like this. You can literally just put it into your water. You mix it up, and it tastes exactly like what it is. So, for example, like My Protein. They have a Bomb Pop clear whey that I absolutely love. They also have a lemonade flavor that I absolutely love and like a Mike and Ike's flavor that I absolutely love. It's like strawberry mango. It's delicious. And all you need to do is just take a blender bottle or take like a big pitcher of water, add in just a few scoops of, the protein, the clear whey. Typically it's around 90 calories, 100 calories, 20 grams of protein. It's great because if you have a gallon-sized jug of water, and in the beginning of the day, right, hey, I want to consume all this water because it's going to help me lose more body fat, speed up my metabolic rate. Plus, if I'm able to add some protein and speed up my metabolism, might as well, right? Little hack. So you take that big gallon jug of water that you have, you put in 2, 3, 4 scoops of that clear whey protein. If let's just say on average it's 25 grams of protein per 1 scoop, you put in 4 scoops, boom, you got a gallon of water right there and 100 grams of protein. That's called habit stacking in a nutshell. But once again, it doesn't matter if you're buying it from My Protein or some other brand. It's an easy hack, especially on a hot summer day. Like imagine like being outside doing some yard work and it's like, hey, you got your protein powder and it's a lemonade and you got some ice cubes in there. Like it tastes delicious, right? Plus, once again, hey, if your kids like to have this stuff, it's a great tool to help them start living a healthier life as well. Okay. Next up on the list. All right, we have egg whites. And the reason why I have egg whites on here is because they're so versatile. Like you can mix them however you want. You can make plain egg whites. You can mix them up with anything. It's pretty low in calorie, high in protein, but I'm a huge fan of egg whites. Just because like a normal egg, I get it. It's healthy fats and whatnot, but it's like 70 calories and maybe 7-8 grams of protein, On the flip side, all the egg whites, like the liquid egg whites or liquid egg beaters, it's all protein, right? Low calories, all protein. It is so easy to make, and plus it's not expensive at all. Typically when the cost of eggs go up, right, egg whites typically always stay around the same. So little hack, right, start having some egg whites, and trust me, I get it. You might be like, dude, those sound gross. You got to know how to make them. Like a lot of our members, they just use our app because, we have a database that has thousands of different recipes. And like some of them require, hey, having some egg whites, a little splash here, maybe like a teaspoon or 2, right? Half a cup here and there. And you're making these amazing different recipes with the egg whites. Now, if you want to eat egg whites plain by themselves, go for it. But obviously, put something on top, right? Put some Tabasco sauce, put some cheese, put some black pepper, some garlic powder in the mix. Like, spice it up. You don't need to eat egg whites by itself because that's just boring. It's like, I'd rather eat cardboard than just egg whites by itself. So spice it up, okay? Now, the next hack, all right, this is the 7th and final one, is cottage cheese ice cream. Cottage cheese ice cream. Now, I love ice cream. I don't love it as much as I love donuts, but I do like to have my ice cream, okay? And making cottage cheese ice cream, I saw this on, Instagram on one of those viral reels, and everybody's talking about it. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'm like, but it probably tastes like crap. Because a lot of the stuff that you see on like viral recipes, it looks great. Anything can look good with marketing, right? But if it tastes bad, like no one's going to make that, Cottage cheese ice cream, on the other hand, like it's something that actually tastes good and looks good. Like it's delicious and it's very easy to make. So all you got to do is literally take your cottage cheese, you put it into a blender, add in some ice, right? And then add in something like whether it's frozen blueberries, frozen strawberries, something like that. If you want to make it really sweet, you can add in some of those 0-calorie sweeteners into the mix or some, sugar-free maple syrup if you want, but it's pretty easy. You can't really go wrong with it. You literally just take 2 ingredients, you put in a blender, stuff it in the freezer for like 30 minutes, and you have delicious protein cheesecake. If you want to get even fancier with it, hey, add a scoop of protein powder into the mix. That's typically what I do, right? Now we're getting way more protein. So let me help you guys out when it comes to, a simple formula to make it a lot easier for you. We just went over 7 hacks right there, right? 7 different protein hacks in a nutshell. But one thing that I always teach this to our new members, because whenever somebody has a slow metabolism and they get signed up for a coaching program because they want to lose weight, which is understandable, I always tell them up from the beginning, you're going to be eating more food. You're going to be having more protein. Your body, especially if you are, over 30% body fat, you have a slow metabolism, you don't really eat a lot of food, right? Like, it's going to be hard for you essentially to hit your protein goal at first. And for somebody that might be watching this, and maybe you're brand new to your own health and fitness journey, you're going to probably experience the same thing. You're hearing about all these amazing hacks that I just went over, right? You're about to go order some protein, you're about to go order some Clear Whey, right? And all of a sudden, hey, you're on this quest now. You're like, okay, hey, you take your body weight, you multiply by 1, you need to have 220 grams of protein, we'll just say on average. But getting that protein in and consuming it could be hard, especially if you have, once again, a slow metabolism. One method that I recommend is using what's called a 2 by 2 by 2 method. This always works, okay? And you can mix it up. There's nothing, like standard black and white about it. You can, mix it up. You can change things around. But essentially what it is you're having 2 protein shakes a day. And every time you're having a protein shake, you're putting 2 scoops of protein powder in them. And then the last 2 is having at least 2 protein bars, okay? So how this works is, if you think about it, it's like 4 scoops of protein powder a day and 2 protein bars. A good size, protein scoop of protein is typically, just so you guys know, anywhere from, let's just say, 80 to 150 calories per 1 scoop and around 20 grams of protein. Now, having a protein bar is typically around 180 calories to 250 grams of, 180 calories to 250 calories, and around, once again, 20 grams of protein. So that way you guys know, because some of the protein bars out there, like the metric bars and like the Fit Chef Irvin bars, I think it is, it's like 300 calories, 350 calories, 400, 500 calories, and like 20 grams of protein. At that point, guys, it's way better just go eat a meal. What's the point of having that protein bar? You can have a way better option, in my opinion, right? Lower calories, higher in protein, find a better option, okay? But once again, if let's say, hey, we want to implement that 2 by 2 method, here's how it would look like for you. Maybe in the very beginning of the day, because you heard what I said about start off the day early, you immediately have a protein shake. And maybe that's just like some almond milk, a blender bottle, and you put 2 scoops of protein in right there. And if let's just say on average, your protein scoop is 25 grams of protein, well, you start off the day right there with 50 grams of protein. And let's just say, okay, you need at least like 2 more protein scoops, right? 2 more protein powders to follow through with the next set of 2. Does it have to look like you need another protein shake? No. It could if you want, if that's easier for you, but it could also look like, hey, maybe in lunchtime, you're having the protein yogurt. Same thing, right? You got 1 scoop in right there, boom, you're good to go. And maybe in the evening time, you're having that cottage cheese ice cream and you put another scoop of protein powder in there. So that's what I mean about it being versatile, right? You can change it up however you want. And obviously, like the last 2 is try your best to have at least 2 protein bars a day. I think it's a great, healthy snack, right? Not a lot of calories, a good amount of protein. It keeps you full, keeps you satisfied, and it's just easy. And plus, they taste good, depending on the protein bars that you're consuming and protein bars that you're buying. When it comes down to, once again, hitting your protein goal, don't complicate things. These are just 7 hacks, 7 different tips. You want to find something that works for you. Don't get so fixated in terms of like, post-workout and pre-workout meals and, should I be eating before I go to sleep and all this stuff. It's just going to complicate you and it's just going to confuse you, right? Keep it simple, stupid. KISS. This is what works. It's like, it doesn't matter how you hit your protein. What matters is, are you going to hit your protein? Just like how, working out, it doesn't matter if you go to the gym or work out at home with or without equipment. All that matters is, are you working out? Getting your steps in. It doesn't matter if you're running or it doesn't matter if you're just going for a walk. What matters is you're just getting your steps in. So keep it simple, especially on your own health and fitness journey, because at the end of the day, you want to look for the easiest way to simplify things because you're going to have a much greater time being consistent. That's what it boils down to. is consistency. Consistency is key, and this is where having the right people in your corner to hold you accountable, making sure that you stay on track, that's the number one key right there for success. And if you guys want to learn any more tips and tricks or how to lose body fat and how to build muscle, I have a completely free training guide. It's the first link in the description box down below if you're checking this out on YouTube. Trust me, there's a lot of value in there. You don't want to miss that, okay? I hope that you guys got a lot of value also from just this video. Just going over, once again, 7 different hacks and tips to help you when it comes to consuming more protein, because that's going to help you speed up your metabolism. That's going to help you lose more body fat, build more lean muscle tissue, and that's obviously what you want, okay? So if you did get any value, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. And also, if you're watching this right now and if you have maybe a hack that you like, or maybe you want to, share your feedback in terms of what makes it easier for you to hit your protein goal, well, hey, don't be shy. Leave a comment down below letting us know maybe your takeaway or feedback or some value that you can do or, share with others in the comment section on how to hit the protein goal as well. And if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would greatly, greatly appreciate that. As always, guys, this has been Coach Joe with Heartletics.com, and I will talk to you in the next episode. Peace out, Girl Scouts.